trains are cool. They're a cornerstone of any public transport network in any city in the UK. And while they might be nowhere near as easy to implement into a city landscape as your average bus route, and while local governments and councils might try to get alternatives such as metro systems like the London Tube or Glasgow subway, or tramways such as the Edinburgh trams or Sheffield Supertrams, you'd be hard-pressed to find a city in the UK with more than 20,000 people that doesn't have any sort of rail link. However, there are two cities in the UK I could think of that have utterly awful rail networks, those being Leeds and Edinburgh. The difference between the two being that Edinburgh's public transport network as a whole is one of the best in Scotland and one of the best in the UK bar London, whereas Leeds' public transport network is UK renowned for being absolutely shit. However, Edinburgh used to have a thriving train network with trains to pretty much everywhere in the city. I mean, did you ever know that there was a train station in Niddry? What about Blackford? Or Drylaw? Murrayfield? Hell, what if I told you that the Tesco Ox Gangs used to be a train station? Would you believe me? No. And rightfully so, it never was a station. But another massive Tesco in Edinburgh used to be a train station, and I will be visiting it in this series, along with dozens upon dozens of other stations. This is The Abandoned. Today's journey starts off at Balgreen tram stop, which is the site for the old Balgreen train station. Hi, good day folks, I'm at Balgreen tram stop, which is the site for the old Balgreen train station. The station itself was one of 3 stations on the Corstorphine Railway. This one was kind of linked onto the actual main route, but only trains towards Corstorphine stopped as it was just after the split. Nowadays, it's the Balgreen tram stop, which I honestly think is the tram stop I use the most because it connects up to 38. But yeah, the station opened in 1934 and then closed in 1968. So that's a good 34 years in service. But anywho, I know I've only been here for like 3 minutes, but that's my tram, so I've got to go. Why did I call it a thing? Next up, we have Pinkhill Station, which is located roughly halfway between Balgreen and Corstorphine stations on the Corstorphine Railway. Opened in 1902, closed to passengers in January 1968, and to freight in February of 1968. And it also closed between 1917 and 1919, and between that, due to the economy during World War II. As did most train stations in Edinburgh. The station itself isn't actually too interesting. I mean, the police nowadays isn't too interesting. However, unlike a lot of stations, you can actually at least still see the platforms. Very obviously, in fact. They stick out like a sore thumb. But I think that's cool, and it's also nice to sit on them, just because I'm tired. And this is the last station. This is the 3rd station of the video, but I'm filming it last because of the way I'd have to do it all, and also I stay in Merkson, so it'd be hard to get it all done in order, like I do with some videos. But yeah, that's Pinkhill, so now let's head along. Final station on the Corstorphine Railway, Corstorphine. Let's head to that, and then we can get back to the main line. Alright, so next up we have the end of the Corstorphine Railway, Corstorphine Station, which the journey between here and Waverley Station, which was the other end of the route, took only 11 minutes. It's a pretty quick link. I mean, of course, nowadays you can get in there on the bus in like 20 minutes tops, so it's not too impressive, but considering it went via Balgreen, that's pretty good. So yeah, the station itself opened in 1902 and closed in 1968, unlike Pinkhill. And it's now the site of probably one of the quietest residential areas I've ever seen. Like, genuinely, I've been here for like 10 minutes and I haven't seen a single person. If you're wondering why it took me 10 minutes to just start filming, that is including the walk, and also I had to set up my tripod. Yeah, for the end of the station, it's not really that interesting. I mean, Pinkhill was more interesting, and that wasn't the end of the line, so that's slightly unusual, but oh well. So yeah, that's just got through the Corstorphine Railway, so I think it's about time for us to get back onto the main line with Saughton Station, which, like Balgreen, is located at the tram stop. Next up, we have Saughton Station, which sees hundreds of trams and trains passing through here to this day. Okay, yeah, again, we got another station that's the site of a tram stop now. This time it's Saughton. So, next stop up. However, this was actually on the main line, unlike Balgreen, which split off right after the main line. So the station itself opened in 1842 as Corstorphine Station, and then in 1902 had its name changed to Saughton, presumably because that was around the time that the Corstorphine Station opened in Corstorphine. And then in 1917, due to the economy from World War I, the station ended up closing until 1919, when it only lasted another 2 years until closing in 1921. The other stations after this one were Turnhouse Station, which I covered in episode 4 of this series, and Gogar Station, which I'll be covering later on in this episode. In fact, I believe that's the next station I'm covering, so. And then in 2004, the site of the station here, the tram stop, was opened as part of the Edinburgh Guided Busway, which remained open for about 5 years before they started working on the trams. And the station opened on the 31st of May 2014 to trams, which it is still very popular among frequent tram users. So I would know I go on the trams past here at least once every month. Alongside the trams, buses still frequently pass the station, with services 1, 2, and 22 combining to make 10 buses per hour into town. But yeah, due to the work they've had to do to install the trams, you can't really see many remnants of the old stations, if any at all. So, yeah. On to Gogar. Next up, we have Gogar Station, which is only one 6-minute tram ride and 25-minute walk through the middle of nowhere away. Oh no! How on earth will I get around this gate? I'm doomed. Alright, so next up, I think we have probably the most unpedestrian-friendly station to get to nowadays, Gogar Station. The walk here was brutal. I'm just glad I was wearing a high-vis, because I swear to God, I'd have probably got hit like 3 times if I wasn't. But yes, this isn't even the most far-out station in the entire video, yet it feels the most far-out. It's definitely going to feel more far-out than Ratho and Kirkliston, which are also stations in this video. It's very quiet, though. I like it. But yeah, this station's probably the least interesting station of the entire video, which is interesting because despite this, it'll still open for 88 years. 88. The station opened in 1842 and closed in 1930. We're in the middle of goddamn nowhere. But yeah, the actual side of the station is hard to see because the way that the bridge is laid out, because we're on Gogar Station Road and the bridge it's got very high walls, and I'm 6 foot and they're definitely taller than me, so if I brought my tape measure, I could measure how tall the bridge is, but my guess is that it's probably about 7'3". But yeah, trains do actually still pass through here very frequently, as we're barely just too far off from Edinburgh Park Station, so you'll primarily see 385s passing through here up to Stirling or Glasgow Queen Street. But you can also see 334s on trains out to Helensburgh Central quite frequently, so I've got like an hour until I need to be at the Gala Centre, and I've got like, it'll take me like 25 minutes to walk there, so might try to get a clip of a 334, because there should be one in the next, like, 5-10 minutes, so. Those are my second favorite trains behind only the 385, so I'm going to wait and get a clip of the 385 and then we can go. But yeah, I'll get that, and then I'll head along to the Gala Centre so I can get to our next station of the day, which is Ratho. Alright, so next up we've got Ratho Station, which is located in the village of Ratho Station, which is named after the train station, which opened in 1842 and closed in 1951. But it also opened in 1866 and closed in 1930. Let me explain. So basically, there were 2 levels to the Ratho Station. There was the high level and the low level. High level, you had trains out to places like Broxburn and Whitborough stations, which are 2 stations in West Lothian that are also closed. Or from the low level, you had our next station of the day, trains out to Kirkliston. So the high level was open 1842 to 1951, whereas the low level was open 1866 to 1930. Otherwise, nowadays, it's not really too interesting. It's located next to this cool pedestrian arch bridge, which is also quite good for both train spotting and plane spotting. So I got a clip of, both a clip of a 334 and also a Ryan airplane taking off, which our very own Bradley Inch will be able to provide the info about.
The aircraft seen right there is a Ryanair Boeing 737-8 departing from EDI to TFS, which is Edinburgh to Tenerife. I don't like 737s because the doors just tend to fly off sometimes.
But yeah, this station is actually just the next station over from Gogar Station. However, it does, despite being further out of the city, it does feel less rural, as you're next to Ratho Station, the village, and also it's just, there's a lot of buildings surrounding it if you face towards the airport. If you look this way, it's literally just trees. But okay, and so for our last station of the day, we have the site for old Kirkliston Station, which it's part of an estate now. So the station was opened on the 1st of March in 1866 for both passengers and goods. However, in 1930, it was closed to passengers, and then about 25 years later, it was closed to goods as well. However, it was barely just short of 100, but when it was withdrawn, so oh well. From here, trains either head southbound back towards Ratho Station, or northbound to either the old Dalmeny Station, which I won't be covering since the new Dalmeny Station still exists, or to South Queensferry Station, which I covered in episode 4 of this series if you want to see. Otherwise, there really isn't much to this station, as it's literally just in an estate now, and the only other cool thing you can do here is, unless you have friends staying over, is see Ryan airplanes flying ahead. But even then, you can do that at Ratho and also get trains, so. But yeah, that's the Edinburgh and Glasgow Railway. So let's say I've managed to do this quite a bit quicker than I thought. Admittedly, I'm doing this in a bit of a weird order because as of recording this is the last station, but I've still yet to do Corstorphine and Pinkhill, which I'm doing next. But this is the end of the episode, if that makes sense. I don't know why I had to jumble it, I just did. Also, it's worth noting that the next episode of the series, episode 8, will be the last episode of The Abandoned, and it will be coming out on a Thursday instead of a Friday, as I have quite exciting announcements coming out on the Friday instead, which you're probably going to want to keep a keen eye on. But I'm going to get ahead. Until next time, take care, folks.